Okay, so this is just a quick video to maybe help people out who are starting to use epoxy resin. I only started a couple of months ago, but I suppose these are the things I learned, and maybe by passing them on to someone else, it'll just save you maybe time, money and effort, because it's very disappointing when you put a lot of effort into making something with it and you make a mistake and something simple goes wrong and it ruins it. So this is what I learned. So I'm really messy, and I see people online, they're not messy. So I tried lots of different ways to stop epoxy getting on stuff, because you don't want it ruining your table or your floor. So I got this A3, the self-healing mat. And what I found good about it is it's thick, so it makes it a bit heavy, so it doesn't slide all over the place when you're doing the epoxy. Plus, if you get a wipe, you can see there even where bits of epoxy have fallen, but it's smoothed it out. It's just, it'll wipe it off it again, so that's handy. And it also doubles as a mat if you're cutting out pictures and stuff, or cutting out molds for the epoxy. You can, the little squares and stuff, so that was useful. Now, I don't really know much about resin, so I took a stab, and I got this. This is the epoxy resin I got, and it's art cast resin. Now, in Ireland here, it's not very popular yet, so you can't really go. I couldn't find it anyway in Mayo. I couldn't find any shops, so I could just walk in to get it in. So I ordered it online. So there's the A, and of course the B, the hardener. So I got the 500 mls, and like I've over half of them used, but they're a good amount to start with, because again, I didn't even know like how much to buy with to start with. So I found they were a good 500 ml was a good amount, because you can mess around and you still have some left. For mixing epoxy, when I started using these cups. They were okay to start, but to be honest, I found problems with them. They're very deep, so when you're filling them, when you're pouring the stuff back out, it takes a while. It doesn't work. Sometimes when you're pouring one into the other, a lot of the resin is sticking to the sides, so they're not smooth on the inside. They're ridged, so you're like losing epoxy. It's hard to get it out. So what I did was I bought these online, and I love these. So they're ideal because they're not too big. And listen, I'm not doing any major projects. It's only little projects that I'm at. So usually there's plenty space in these to mix what I need to mix. Okay, so they've got a little spout and a little handle. So I find that really good. And again, like I said, I'm really messy. So when it comes to my molds, when I'm pouring in from the epoxy, I can pour in just like this. Or when you're mixing your hardener, you can measure out and just pour one into the other. Now, they are ridged inside, but I find they're just easier to get the epoxy out. So I didn't really have much choice in the kind of containers I can use, but I started with these. They do if you don't have anything else, but they're not ideal. These way better, and they were worth. I bought them online, and they weren't really that dear, but they were really worth buying. And you see, I got an awful lot there for maybe a couple of euro. The next thing is the molds. When I started, I didn't realize that not all molds are smooth on the inside. I couldn't get a proper epoxy molds. I've some ordered online, but when I starting off, I didn't have any. So I thought that I just bought this silicone mold from the shop, and like it looks smooth when you look at it, but as I found out the hard way, it isn't smooth, and you end up with this was just a tester one. See how it's kind of dull matte finish. Now some people might, you might be making something where you want the matte finish, but I don't like the matte finish. I wanted a shiny finish, and after going to the trouble of getting out all the bubbles and stuff, I was very disappointed with all the first lot of stuff I did, because it turned out matte. Now, I figured out a way to shine them up by putting another layer of epoxy on them, which isn't ideal, because you can see it's very hard to get it smooth. but you see that one shone up as well. I tried a few other things, and I'll put them in another video because I don't want this video running too long. But yeah, make sure your mold is a proper epoxy mold, or at least very smooth on the bottom. Again, if you can't get the proper epoxy mold, there is a way around this. You can shine them without needing a lathe, or, you know, I couldn't even get hold of the different grit sandpapers, the high grits. They just don't sell them because, I don't know, again, I'd have to buy them online, and sometimes that's just to get around to it. But so make sure your mold is right, and make sure it's smooth on the bottom. I also bought one of these for taking out, they just, you know, to take out any air bubbles. Really good. I tried lighters and I tried all sorts of things, and the reality is that you need one of those. So just get one of those. It'll save a lot of time and hassle. For mixing the lollipop stick, I bought a bunch of them just in the art shop. I tried lots of different things too here. I tried these plastic spoons. They weren't really working that well. Sometimes they seem to add in more bubbles. But yeah, these lollipop sticks are the best. Big lollipop sticks I tried as well, but I think these little ones are the best. And also toothpicks are great. For just, you know, finer detail if you're trying to put stickers in or stuff. And also not forgetting latex gloves. And I've seen online, you know, some people can be allergic and stuff, so latex gloves, I got them, and obviously a face mask. But I found that there isn't much fumes. You know, don't seem to get any fumes off these resins, so it could be varied depending on the resin you're using. Okay, so I'll do another video of shining these up and how I did it without the use of a lathe or without the sandpaper, and I'll just go through other methods I used that didn't work. Okay, thanks.